Alright guys, Fred here from InDesign Tips and Tricks. Today we're going to look at making this image for our social media. Let's go! Right then, let's take a look at making this little number. First things first, because this is going to be used for social media in a real format, we want a portrait file. So let's go ahead and click that. 1920 high by 1080 wide. So that'll work for all of our reels and stories. So if we come up to File at the top, New Document in InDesign, and we're going to pick Web here. The reason we pick Web is because then we can work in pixels. So for the width we can put in 1080 and the height we can do as 1920. We don't need any bleed because this isn't for print, and then we can click Create. First off, let's grab our picture from the race. So we can go File, Place, or we can do Command D and navigate to our race photo, which is here. Click in my top left corner, click and drag, and we can see that that's actually not going to fill the height, but we're going to go beyond on the width. So let's let go of the mouse, bring our bottom right corner in to match the bottom right corner of our pasteboard. And then we can either click the target to select the photo, or we can do Shift Escape to pick up the picture. See how it's now given us that orange box around the outside. And then I'm going to use Command Option and the full stop just to bring the picture of the racer up. Click and drag him to somewhere about there, I reckon. Can always move him later on. In fact, let's just nudge them up a little bit. Now we can get rid of these guides around the edge if you find those a little bit annoying by pressing the W key. So that's cleared that up. And then we need to add our race text. So we can come over to the text tool or press the T key, click and drag, and then I'm going to type race with caps on. Then we can do Command A or Select All. Then we can hold Command, Option, Shift, and pressing the full stop. We'll bring that up and we'll leave it about there. Let's pick our font. For this, I'm going to use one called Eurostyle. And we will use the italic version. Back to our black arrow, which is the selection tool, and come over into our swatches palette. If you don't see that, you can go Window, Color, Swatches, and then making sure that you're in the text tool here on the swatches panel and you're in the foreground solid color for the text, not the frame color. I'm just going to pick this yellow. I quite like it for words like race and stuff like that you want to look fast, to have in a bit of an angle, and having a stretched or an extended font always looks quite good. So let's bring our frame to the front now for our text. I'm going to make that black, and then we'll come down to stroke. Again, if you can't see stroke, you can get that from Window at the top there. And then I'm just going to add some stroke. I'm going to make sure that the join has got this curved round join to it. So that stops us having any sort of spiky, funny edges in InDesign. And then make sure that I'm aligning the stroke to the outside with this tool here. So I think I'm going to put that up to about 10. Now if I hold Command and Shift and press C, that centralized the text within its text box. If I hold Shift and click the background and then come up to this Align tool here, that will move the text to the center of the background. Hold Shift and click the background, and we're back to the text. And let's hold Shift and bring that down just behind the helmet, because we want to eventually cut this helmet out so it stands proud of the text. So we're just getting everything roughed out in a position where we'll eventually want them to be. I'm going to do a little trick here where we do a Command C. So that's going to copy what I've got selected here, which is our race text. Now that is now on the pasteboard. I'm going to come back to our swatches and click the T, make sure that I've got black selected there for the frame. And I'm going to bring this frame stroke up to the point where the gaps close up on the letters. So just to be sure, I'm going to make that about 20. And then whilst I've still got this selected with the black selection tool, I'm going to hold shift and press the down arrow on the cursor keys. Then I'm going to hold Command Option Shift, press the V key, and that's pasted the original text in over the top. Again, with the up arrow on the cursor keys, I'm going to just nudge up 1 or 2. And I really like the way that if I click to the side now, you got the thinner edge around the top of the text and the thicker edge to the bottom. Then we need to do the vlog text, which is going to sit just under the E. So for that, we'll pick up a new text box, go to the T tool, the text tool, or we can press T, click and drag out, and we're going to type the word vlog. Again, Command A to select all, Command Option Shift full stop, press the full stop until the vlog comes up. And my son really likes this font called Cheddar Gothic. I'm not sure if it's the way it looks or the fact that it's called Cheddar. But if we select that one, let's go for the italic version. Back to the selection tool. I can come over to the T on here, make sure that it's the foreground or the solid part of the text that we're going to colour in, and we'll make that yellow as well. So that looks quite cool. Let's bring this bottom right toggle in a little bit, and then we're going to hold Command and Shift, click and hold that corner and drag this out. So let's offer the vlog text up under the E and just see, I kind of want it about the same width if we can. In fact, let's triple click in there, do Command A, and I'm going to make that the normal regular version of the font. I think that might look a bit cooler. So back to the black selection tool, we'll just bring that over. Now I want to create my chevrons that run down through the picture. So neat little trick here, to match the font, I'm going to hold the Option key and just click and drag the vlog text away. So we've got a second copy of that there. Triple click in, Command A to select all that. Then I'm going to hold Shift and press the full stop key. That's given us this sort of triangle arrow, if you like. Go back to the black selection tool. If I hold Command and Shift and press O, if we zoom in, that's now turned this, go to the direct selection tool, into a shape, which is really useful. Let's zoom back out, Command 0, back to the black selection tool. If I press the R key and then hover over this corner whilst holding Shift, it'll move it in 45-degree increments. Let's move that up. And I'm not going to hold any keys, I'm just going to drag this bottom right toggle out to sort of match the width of the vlog. And then I'm going to squash that up a little bit. And then we need to repeat it. Now I could repeat these shapes up manually one by one, but InDesign's got this really cool built-in feature. If we come up to Edit, Step and Repeat, see how it's put another version here based off of our selected one. Make sure you've got Preview clicked, and we're going to make sure that the horizontal is 0 because we don't want the arrows moving left or right. And we're just going to make that vertical, start with 50, not quite enough, let's do 100, let's do 80. So 80 looks about right, and then we can up the count until we get near the bottom of the page, which is what we want. And then we can click OK. Now, I want some more up above the E here. So we don't need to go through the step and repeat process again. We can actually hold Shift and click a few more of these, and then we can hold Option Shift, click and drag. And then I quite like the way that we could actually do them every other color. So we could click the first one, hold Shift, miss one, click the next one, miss one, and so on, until we've got every other chevron selected. And then I'm going to come up to my swatches, bring the foreground color in. I'm going to do a new color swatch. I'm going to change it from RGB to CMYK. It's just how I quite like to pick my colors. I'm going to go for 100% magenta, no yellow, and then tab through and click OK. So if we click off the pasteboard, we've now got this cool effect that sort of rotates between pink and yellow. I'm going to go back now and select the yellow chevrons. Same principle, holding Shift, click all the yellow ones that we want. and then I'm going to come over to Effects. If you don't see Effects, you can go up to Window and find your Effects panel, and I'm going to change that to Overlay. If I click to the side again, that's quite a cool effect. If your preview starts to look a little bit ropey like this, you can hold Control, click, come down to Display Performance and go High Quality Display. And that brings back a nice crisp version of our image. Next, I want to click on our vlog text with the black selection tool, and I'm going to go into Effects, and I'm going to make that overlay as well. Now this looks quite faint, so what I can do here is Command C to copy it, and then Command Option Shift and V to paste another one in. And that looks quite cool. That's made that lift a little bit. Now let's do the fun part of cutting out this helmet so that it looks like it's in front of the word race. So what we can do here, I'm just going to click on the first word for race and go Command 3, that's hidden that one. Click on the underlying word for race, Command 3 and hide that one. So they've not been deleted, they've just been hidden for the moment. And this will allow us to press the Z key for the zoom. And then I like to hold Shift, click and drag. And then we can zoom in nicely on the helmet. So what I'm going to do now is press P or go to the pen tool. And what I look for when I'm drawing a path, we're basically going to draw a path around the helmet so that we can bring that to the foreground. So what I like to look for is sort of like hard kinks in the shape. So if I click there for one point, and then I click and drag, I'll start to get this nice curve. If ever you've drawn in Photoshop or Illustrator, you'll be used to this technique. Then this is more of a harsh point here in the corner. So I'm just going to click, I'm going to do another click, then I'm going to do a click and drag. So anywhere where I see a bit of a curve, I'll do a click and drag. Anywhere where I want a bit of a point, I'll just do one click. So click and drag, click and drag, click and drag. You get the picture. And what I love about this Troy Lee helmet is this shark fin on the top. It looks really cool. So we're just going to try and follow the contours here as best we can. If you make a mistake, just do Command Z, and we can go back around these points after and fine tune them if we're a little bit worried about how they're looking. So we've got the goggle strap here. Let's make sure we get that in. He'll be upset if we miss that off. And then I can come back over, meet the other point, and that's now finished our shape. Now there's one other bit that I might quite like to cut out as well, is where his elbow goes into our chevron. So I'm just going to do the same thing here. Click one, hold Shift, click the other, Command 3 to hide them, and then we'll press P for our pen tool. And we're just going to go around the elbow of the jersey. And what this will do is if we move anything in a minute, the job will already be done. So we can sort of get a better feel for how things are looking. So if there's any pointers that I can give you here is to sort of cut just inside the shape that you want eventually to be stood proud, and you'll get a nicer finish. You won't get like a funny colour around the edge. So Command 0 to see our actual overall image. We've got the elbow area or the elbow shape that we've created here selected. If I hold Shift, this is quite fiddly, but if I just gently roll over the edge of the helmet there, and you see how it picks up the frame, I can hold Shift and click that one as well. So if I was to put some colour in here, you could see that we've actually blanked those two out. If we come over to Pathfinder, I'm going to use the Combine tool here. And what that's going to do is force InDesign to create these as one shape. If we go to the direct selection tool, which is the grey arrow, you can see that our points are still here. So what I like to do now is go to the black selection tool, click our picture. I'm going to press Shift Escape, that's now selected the image, Command C to copy, and then I'm going to press Escape again to go back to the frame and not the picture. I'm going to click on the helmet and the elbow shape, and I'm going to do Command Option V. That has now pasted the image into those two shapes. And you can see that we've selected those shapes because the pink is still selected here, or the magenta is still selected. So I'm going to go ahead and make that none now. And if we hold Command Option and press 3, we've now got our race text and our chevrons back. So remember that we said that they were just hidden. I think I'd like to make it a bit more obvious that the elbow is cut out. So I'm going to click and drag down here on the chevrons. Careful not to select the elbow. That's also selected the background image. So if we hold Shift and click that, and then I'm going to hold Shift and nudge down with the down arrow. And that's made it a bit more obvious that the elbow is now sticking into the chevron. So this is really starting to take shape. Now I quite like these little corners that we've done on a few of our other reels. So I'm going to press P for the pen tool. I'm going to click here, hold Shift and click up. What that does is draws a perfectly straight line from the first point. And with Shift still held down, I'm going to click again. Then I'm going to come over to our stroke, make that say 3 point, bring the magenta to the front, select yellow. Now I quite like that overlay effect that I've got on the vlog text, so I'm going to go back into effects, click from normal to overlay, go to the black selection tool, click off, and that's given us quite a cool corner there. So what we can do here is click back onto our corner, hold Option as we roll over the center point there. Holding Shift, we can bring that over to the next corner. Press the R key for rotate, hover off the corner, hold Shift. Press V or back to the black selection tool and click off the side. Now, because this has got overlay on it, it doesn't like sitting over the black area here. So let's just click back on there and we'll change this one just to normal. Holding Shift, we'll click the top left one. Then we're going to hold Option, Shift, click and drag down to get a duplicate here. And then what we could do in this instance is flip those vertical with the central toggle here. And then that will flip those around the centers. And then actually if we make this corner here, overlay, that'll look cool because it's a lighter section of the grass. So this is really starting to look good. Let's click on the vlog text, hold Option, and we'll just drag this over here. And we call this particular race FOD, where we were. So triple click in there, Command A to select all, and we're gonna just do FOD. Command A again, hold Command Shift, press the full stop a few times. Perhaps hold Option as well, and the full stop, and then it comes up a little bit bigger, somewhere about there. Back to the black selection tool, tidy this up a little bit, and then holding Option and Shift, drag that down. And I triple click into there, Command A to select all, holding Command, Option, Shift, and this time the comma key. Each time we press that, it comes down in set increments. And we like to put the date or the month and the year in here. Cool, so that was a bit of a fluke. If we go back to the selection tool there and click off, that looks quite cool. And we can tidy up our text box here as well. So holding Shift, I'm going to click and select the FOD, the FOD text, and we're going to go Command C and then Command Option Shift and V and paste those in just so that they ping out a little bit more. Now to add a little something to the FOD October text, let's grab this corner shape here. We're going to hold Option, click and drag to get a duplicate of it. Drop that somewhere about there. And then if I press the A key, which is actually the shortcut key for the grey direct selection tool, if I click to the side, as I roll over the shape, you'll see that it brings up the toggle points here. So I can click the top one, click and hold, holding Shift, and then bring that up so it sort of matches the height of the F. And then do the same here holding the right one with shift, and then bring that sort of in line with the end of the 5. Back to the black selection tool, click to the side, and that looks quite good. I quite like to mimic camera settings and things like that when I'm doing this sort of thing. So let's go up to our text tool or press the T key, click and drag out, and we're going to type race highlights, Command A to select all, Command Option Shift full stop. Just going to hit that twice, and then I'm going to go back to that font which was called Eurostyle. Now that's probably a little bit big for what I wanted, so I can go Command Option Shift comma, press the comma once, and then I think I'm just going to make this text white. Now I can go back to the black selection tool, press the R key, hover off the corner, hold in shift, that'll bring that round at 45-degree increments. Click and drag that into about here. Let's tidy up our text box. Press the A key, hover over our corner shape, click that top point, then click, hold and drag with shift held down. Bring that up to match the width there. Press V for the black selection tool, click off the side, and that is looking pretty cool. The only thing left to add now, we like to let people know that the race vlog is going live on the YouTube channel. So we just need to bring up the YouTube logo. So you can either grab that from the web by doing an image search. I like to keep these typographics on file. So if I just grab that, I've just copied the YouTube logo from another file that I've got. So Command V to paste that in, click and drag it over. And we could perhaps hold Command Shift, click and hold this top right toggle and just bring that up so it matches the width of FOD. Let's hold Control and click on the YouTube logo, come down to Effects. We'll put a slight drop shadow on that. I'm going to change that from 75 to 45. Make this 5. Make that 10. Click OK. This looks a little bit close to the hand and handlebar up here. So I want to grab this whole section as 1 and move it down slightly. So I'm going to click off the side the pasteboard, click and drag over to make sure I've grabbed all of that. This has also grabbed the background image, so I'm going to hold Shift and click that. See how now these outside toggles show us that we've just grabbed this cluster here. I'm going to click, hold Shift and hold the mouse and just drag that down a little bit as well. So I'm really pleased with that. One job left to do, and that's to go and grab the boss, check he's happy with what I've done, and then he can add this to his socials and get everyone to go head over and watch him and his mates on their race vlog. Hope you've enjoyed watching this tutorial. This has been a cool one to put together, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers!